because cults are such a pervasive cancer in our life. The conspiracy theories are a cult of misunderstanding. Every religion is a cult. Anything that has this telling you what you should and shouldn't do because of God is a cult. As if God cares and knows, and as if there's a somebody called God somewhere. And then this gets translated to the leader of the cult becomes the God figure. And the God figure tells you the rules of the cult, whatever it might be. And so to be free is the willingness not to get caught. And if you're willing to not get caught, you're willing to stay true to yourself. Because in order to get caught in a cult, you have to betray yourself. But this self-betrayal is always justified by some story. And that's how we live our life, in self-betrayal and then a story justifying it so that we don't feel like we're in betrayal. We feel like we're doing the right thing. Everyone thinks they're doing the right thing. Trump is sure he's doing the right thing. No one says I'm the bad guy. No one says I'm doing the wrong thing. And I don't know if it was here before, but this is so part of the whole Western belief system that starts with Zoroaster. Zoroaster is this prophet who takes the religion of the Persians. The Persians are steppe people. The steppe people changed the world from one end to the other, as far as Europe, Asia, into Africa. The steppe people brought us the wheel. There are whole cultures, like in the Andes, there are thousands of years of culture with highly developed civilizations that are literate, but they don't have the wheel. What a difference the wheel made. And the wheel is because we had cart. And with cart, the steppe people gave us horses. And so when these steppe tribes migrated east and west, they spread from Europe to China. You see horse culture spreading, and then you see chariot spreading. Chariot is from the steppe people. So when you see the Mahabharata with its chariots, those are steppe warriors that went to India. They're the Aryan tribe. Aryan tribe is a tribe of Persians. And so that's who. So when in India you see people doing a fire ceremony to Agni, 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 with fire, that's from the Persian steppes. And so the influence that's happened from east to west with the wheel, with language, with Proto-Indo-European, which is what I'm speaking right now, and what everyone in this place is except the Japanese people here, are speaking a form of Proto-Indo-European. And so that's the influence of the steppe. And so one of these steppe prophets takes the fire religion of Agni and adds a dimension of the supernatural, of a war of light against darkness. That there's the truth and there's the lie. And that our life on earth is to serve the truth and fight the lie. And that at the end there's going to be this huge conflagration between light and dark, good and evil, the truth and the lie, and then there will be a reckoning for those who stay true. This is something that comes out of the steppes of Central Asia and then spreads as the Persian Empire spreads from coast to coast. So Cyrus, when he conquers the world, sees himself as a spreader of the truth over the lie. And he becomes a real, for someone who, as a conqueror, he was benevolent. He was a good guy. That's why they call him the Great. But this idea that there's fight of good against evil then gets incorporated into the Middle Eastern religion, into the New Age religion that's forming, which is a formulation from the Persian, which is the influence there, and from the Hebrew. And from the Persian and the Hebrew, this new thing shows up called Christianity. And why does the wise men, who are the wise men that shows up at Jesus' birth? The wise men are the Magi. And the Magi are the high priests of the Persian religion. So that immediate story that we're taking, this novelization to create a world hit, takes the Persian roots at the very beginning when they bring him incense. And so this war between good and evil then gets incorporated into the New Age religion of Christianity. And then we have the whole world. Crusades are the good against evil. As the Crusades create horror and massacre and destruction of innocent people, they're doing it in the name of good. And so everybody is doing it in the name of good. And so when we see that, then we start to see how we justify our own limitations by rationalizing them as being good. Then, to wake up from the war between good and evil, light and dark, to not be a good guy or a bad guy. And if you're not a good guy or a bad guy, there are no good guys or bad guys. And if there are no good guys and bad guys, then you're responsible for yourself. Doesn't mean there aren't evil actions in the world. Doesn't mean there aren't evil consequences. Plagues and wars and destruction and capitalism are all evils. But it's not there's a bad guy doing it to you. And so the whole conspiracy theory thing of good guys and bad guys and they're doing it to us is a kind of cult.